Jim, everyone. This is Dr. Josh with Crypto Mondays Global. I hope everybody's having a wonderful time out right now. I know it's difficult times as a volatility is coming through, but I'm very excited. And I'm very excited because I'm here at Malta Crypto Hub, Malta's event. They were talking about artificial intelligence and China and how China's taken a lead role. Well, here tonight with me, I got a young man who's actually probably younger than you think. He was an entrepreneur, working with crypto, working with gaming, working with new technologies, and an AI innovator himself when he was already, what, 12 years old?
I started my first AI company at 14.
14.
So yeah, quite at an early age.
So he's been in AI longer than most people for about 5 years because he's only 19 now. All right, my friend. Okay, we're going to talk about decentralized AI versus centralized AI and how AI is changing and how the younger generation perceives that, especially a young generation of entrepreneurs. So super exciting 10 minutes. Just stay with us. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you haven't gone to Crypto Mondays, go to a Crypto Mondays in your town. And if there's no Crypto Mondays in your town, start one.
Exactly.
All right, brother.
Just like how we were talking about, starting one in Budapest specifically.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Because I'm originally from Budapest, and it will be a great connection there as well.
Okay, so introduce yourself to the audience. Now, tell us
so
who
my
you are.
name is Benedek Kovacs. I started my first, let's say, AI company when I was about 14. It's called AI Watches. My initial passion in tech probably comes from Apple products and Steve Jobs and the way he viewed technology. So that's why I started developing hardware, specifically smartwatches. That was the first something that I was super passionate about, and I think that was a passion that drove me really to in innovation where I am right now. So AI watches, the way it worked is that I had an algorithm which could give personalized health and fitness-based recovery recommendations based on your health data. So the smartwatch market, I don't know if you remember, it was, I could say, a bit weak. You could collect all of the data, right? You could capture everything. The sensors were getting better and better all the time, but they were not utilized, right? There were no fitness recommendations, recovery recommendations, how to sleep better, how to optimize your life. And by now, the whole longevity market, we can see that, you maybe know Brian Johnson and these others, right? It's becoming more and more popular. But I think it was, let's say, the early days of longevity and health engineering that was driving me.
Now, that was the AI smartwatch and noticing the gap in the market and the long-term needs of the market.
Yes, there is big need for data analysis, right? We collect all of this data.
But what's it for, and how can it be used? And
how can it use it, for better personal experiences?
Right.
And creating products with that.
And then you've been in AI already from the beginning from the beginning of your career, and now now you're taking off in the gaming industry with a startup. Before we jump into the weeds about AI centralized versus decentralized,
and a new algorithm, that we are developing.
Yeah, we'll talk about just a bit about gaming and how you got into that. Is it another gap that you saw in gaming? And now you've developed this algorithm?
So in gaming, very interesting experience. When I first got started, I had the very fortunate ability to go to these insider events.
Yeah.
And basically what these are is that the largest gaming companies were there mainly for PR purpose, but their C-levels were present. And lots of different discussions came up. My main idea, the way I like to go in business, I like to do analysis of that specific market and find the gaps, right? Find the gaps where I can drive really, really strong value with my skill set.
Yeah.
So I was talking to these very large executives, billion-dollar companies, and I figured out that as they are basically publishers, right? They have a site with lots of different games. That's why I call it internet gaming.
Yeah.
And basically what I figured out is that none of these games are personalized, right? New user goes there, we collect all of the data and everything, but the order in which the games are displayed are not personalized. Maybe they are personalized based on how many times they are played, only popularity, but not on the one-on-one level. When I look at internet overall as an industry, most of the content-based, let's say, platform, we can look at social media, right? Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. Whenever a user sees content, nowadays, the reason why there's such big popularity is because you're completely personalized. If you go on Instagram, about 98% of all the content that you will actually watch was recommended to you by an algorithm.
Yeah.
If it wasn't there, you would get bored, right? I mean, it would be a quick exchange, right? You go there, you look at your fans' posts,
So, same
but
thing
nothing
with...
to keep you in. And in gaming, right, it's a very, very profitable industry. Maybe because of this, there's a bit of conservativeness, and innovation couldn't come through. And I saw that, okay, if in all of the other internet industries this is already being utilized, how come it's not here in gaming? And I actually made sure all the largest gaming companies not utilizing it in the way that where it could reach its potential, like in other industries. This is the thing that I figured out. It's not being utilized to the extent where the technology is today. So I was like, yeah, I put together a team of data scientists, and the inspiration for the algorithm actually came from movie sites before Netflix. So it was like, with my friends, we were always, what movie are we going to watch. I was very much into the movies industry. I used to go to film school. I was
really?
into directing, editing. I did some acting as well, a bit.
Okay.
And so we were looking at these movie databases.
Boy Next Door.
And so we were looking at these databases, right? Like IDMB, which you really had to do big searching to find the movie that you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, this was before Netflix.
And then the reviews. Well, I don't know. The reviews are okay, but
I mean, it's really hard to find a movie just based on how you're feeling at that exact moment.
So AI helped out.
And so, what if we could create an algorithm which could track all of your activity throughout everything you do online with cookies, and then we could feed this data back, and then with a prediction engine, right, with a recommendation engine, we could give you the content at that exact moment, at that state of mind that you're in currently, of what you're most likely to want to view. And so then we already had the idea in place, but then when I saw the huge gap in iGaming, and obviously the financial aspects of it, right? I mean, if we can increase conversion rate by let's say 1%, that's going to add massively to the revenues into this project. So that's when, okay, can we put it together? First what we look for is a good data collection platform for data analysis, because lots of that is done. So we found a very great partner, and then the development is started. And now we are at a point where we didn't just develop it, but we started the testing phase. The testing phase was run about for 3 months. The results were so good that we knew, or I knew, that my ambitions exceed that I would just give it out to B2B suppliers, right? To B2B companies.
Yeah.
I want to create my own publisher, my own product with this.
Okay.
Right?
Wait, just let me ask you.
Yeah.
So basically what you're talking about is like the kind of behavioral algorithm that is you connecting all these dots like a TikTok or an Instagram. Isn't that going to be like regulated or come back with a lot of, because obviously gambling is already addictive, and you already have like these old people in Las Vegas going, have you seen them? They like sit there like zombies. And they don't need an algorithm for that.
So
but imagine if you add an algorithm to that, then it's like, they don't even have to touch the button. It's like their mental is like.
Very, very good. Very good that you're bringing up the question. Because moving into the industry, this is my number one concern, right? I'm a very humanitarian, ethical person. If I couldn't see a solution for this, I would have never came into the industry ever. Wouldn't even touched it, one bit. And basically, it's super important that you bring up the algorithm, because it's exactly the solution as well. So we already have in place measures that if we can collect data off of the people that we collect data of, if we can predict what their mood is like, what game they want to play, we can predict what is their mental state, what is their financial state, and overall their state of mind, which allows us to create a system where we can prevent people from getting addicted or from getting to, let's say, harmful behavior.
But what casino is going to do that, right? What online gaming company is going to do that? You know what I mean? So is that idealistic to say, we can addict people to our site and gambling. Let's not do it.
Okay, so in the gaming space, land-based and online, it's, I would say, a misconception about how we treat players specifically. The misconception is that whenever a player would get addicted, they get usually blocked by the sites and prevented from going forward. The reason is actually a financial perspective from the operators. The reason is that once a player gets to a level where they're, let's say, they would display harmful behavior, they once they get to this level, they usually lose a lot of money and they make decisions that they later would regret. In these cases, they can bring the cases to civil court and they can go against the iGaming company.
Yeah, I actually just heard a case about Austria and Malta on that same point. But
okay,
let me,
so just to finish this discussion, so basically, if we would allow players to get to a point of addiction where they would display harmful behavior and make bad decisions, cases would get taken to civil courts, and these cases, most times the player or the customer wins against the operator. And this would cause not only, you know, less customers, but bad PR. So in every single gaming company, land-based or iGaming, doesn't matter, there are very, very strong player protection in place. Mainly because of financial objectives, but in my case, not just a financial objective, but keeping our image, but also an ethical perspective as well, right? I mean, we really want to be the ones who can provide the most ethical and most preventive system for players. Now, my belief on each of these technologies is that if we could have a system which would prevent people to get to a point where they have a problem or an addiction, if we can stop everybody from getting there and prevent this, then it's all fun in the most literal way, right? Because otherwise you have fun, you do with all sorts of things, right? You have fun, but then you could get to a point where you will have mental problems, when you have problems maybe with addiction. If we can prevent these players from getting there and stopping them, then the bad side is removed and it's all fun. And that's really the aim of Viva. You know, Viva means celebrate life.
Okay,
you know,
yeah, Viva. I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
But, you know, just let's talk about AI for a second.
Yeah.
When you have all this data, who controls the data? Who stores the data?
Right.
If it's under centralized control, if it's under centralized storage, if it's under centralized, it can, there can be security issues, right? Then there's also the ability for people to use that data and for, you know, for fraud and other things. As an industry, the gaming is obviously, the data is also very, very important, and
absolutely,
the systems
absolutely.
And things like that. Where do you see I mean, as a young guy who's in this industry here, jumping into things, but you've already got some experience, where do you, but you started in AI before gaming, so you know a bit about it. Where do you see AI going in the gaming industry? Like, what type of solutions besides yours are coming out? So we know you have a solution for the data management for the behavior.
Exactly. No,
but what other things are you seeing that are making an impact or going to make an impact in the gaming industry?
So just, you know, a bit of a background of me in iGaming. So I started on the marketing side. I was basically managing campaigns and leads for similar companies. That's when I had the ambition and motivation. How come I could become the big guy, and how come I could own the brands? So I launched 4 brands.
How can I become the big fish?
Exactly. That's always going towards the next level. So my idea,
like Iman Poulos, huh?
Maybe, yeah.
You mentioned him.
And so I started 4 brands already and managed them, and that's really how I had all of the experience to see where the industry is heading, where it is right now. And so I would say, when it comes to AI, I don't like to call it data management, I call it maximizing player experience and engagement.
Okay, maximizing player experience and engagement.
Exactly, because if you look at, we are very similar to Instagram and other social media platforms.
Yeah.
As a publisher or as an operator, because we host games, we host content. Instagram, for instance, host content, if the algorithm wasn't there, if it wasn't personalized completely for you, then you would lose your interest and you would lose the fun of it very quickly. That's exactly what we are adding, basically the completely personalized experience. Every single player deserves to have their own set of games that are recommended to them, their own experience, their own tournaments, their own promotions, everything, really taking care of them on the individual basis. And that's really the company focus, because if our players enjoy playing on our site more, then they will choose it instead of competitors, and we could go towards the company's objectives. When it comes to AI in iGaming, what I believe when it comes to AI very specifically, I don't like it when a company calls itself AI. Because what I like is products that are developed with machine learning and AI technology. Right? I mean, just specifically AI is nothing without a product, without a use case.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you can ask, let's say, an LLM questions, but you know, can you help it create a better player experience for your players on a gaming side?
For example.
So yes, so really what I'm seeing is that products, where it's built in, where it's the back end, just like ours.
But I'm just very interested in why there hasn't been some company that figured this out before Viva, because you'd think it would be so obvious that
that
Instagram pulls in people through personalization, through sentiment analysis. TikTok does the same thing or whatever, very good, and its success is excellent. Yeah, just last question, you know.
Yeah. So overall, my personal opinion is that the gaming industry in general is just too profitable. It's at a point where companies feel like that if they can continue what they are doing, then they're
good.
Exactly.
So it's just complacency, right?
But then what huge profitability brings is a very strong, let's say, sense for stabilization and conservativeness. The reason why it comes into play is that companies feel like that if you're doing right now, we are extremely good. If we do something and it goes bad, then we could do less good than how we are currently doing.
Okay, I see.
And so because of this, they do not have an innovative approach where they would go and innovate. Where on my side, I already built up brands on the conservative basis, and I found the loop, and I'm ready to develop.
Cool.
And go towards an innovative future.
Love it, man. Okay, so we got Benedek. He's 19 years old. This is the next generation of people in AI, decentralized AI, crypto, and blockchain. So we gotta listen to them. And it's very interesting stuff what they're doing, finding gaps, solving problems. All right, man. Thanks for coming on Crypto Mondays.
Thank you so much,
brother. All right, we'll be in touch.
Okay.